The Miami Dolphins officially released Tyreek Hill.
What team needs Tyreek Hill the most, though, Louis? Is it the Chiefs or is there someone else?
Yeah, I think it's the Chiefs.
Today, we break down 5 teams that need to get in on the Tyreek Hill sweepstakes and 5 that absolutely have to stay away. Get in, Buffalo Bills. Let's start with the team that's been knocking on the door for years now. Josh Allen is one of the most talented quarterbacks in football. Got the arm, he's got the athleticism, he has got the competitive fire. What he doesn't have, and frankly has never had, is a true number 1 receiver. Khalil Shakir led Buffalo in receiving yards last season with just 719. The Bills used a league-high 8 different receivers with 100+ snaps because they couldn't figure out who Allen's go-to guy was supposed to be. Now imagine Tyreek Hill running a go route with Josh Allen's rocket launcher delivering the ball. That is a coverage nightmare the defensive coordinators would lose sleep over. Hill even showed some love to Buffalo after their heartbreaking playoff loss to Denver, tweeting, "I'm sick for ya, Bills." Maybe that was just sympathy, but maybe it was something more. Staying away, San Francisco 49ers. On paper, Kyle Shanahan and Tyreek Hill sound like a match made in heaven, at least from an X's and O's perspective. But here's the problem. San Francisco is an organization built around culture and a shared identity. And while you might think they'd be interested with the impending departure of Brandon Ayuk, they would be very hesitant to even talk about adding a 32-year-old receiver with Hill's baggage coming off a catastrophic knee injury. And I mean, come on, the 49ers have enough of those on their own. The 49ers have a championship window that is closing fast. They cannot afford to invest significant resources in a player who might not be available until week 8, or might not ever be the same player again. When your window is this narrow, you do not gamble on question marks. You go with sure things. San Francisco should just chill and let someone else take that risk. Get in, Las Vegas Raiders. Alright, look, I know this one sounds like a disaster waiting to happen. I mean, Tyreek Hill in Sin City. Yeah, look, I get it. But the Raiders have over $90 million in cap space and the first overall pick in the draft, which I mean is almost certainly going to be Heisman Trophy winner Fernando Mendoza. They have a new head coach in Clint Kubiak, who just won Super Bowl 60 running a Shanahan-style offense in Seattle. And they already have foundational pieces in Ashton Genty and Brock Bowers. So let's just add Tyreek Hill to that mix. Even if Hill isn't quite what he used to be, even if he's only 80% of his former self, that's still one of the most dangerous offensive weapons in football. Pair him with a young quarterback who has a cannon for an arm, a running back who just rushed for 2,000 yards in college, and a tight end who's already one of the best in the league. Well, that is a huge problem for the rest of the AFC West and would be a huge win for Mendoza's development. Stay away, Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones loves making headlines, and signing Tyreek Hill would certainly do that. But Dallas just traded for George Pickens this past season, another ultra-talented receiver who couldn't stop getting into it with teammates, coaches, and opponents. Now imagine pairing Pickens with Hill. 2 diva receivers with massive personalities competing for targets on a team that is $29 million over the salary cap. A building where Jerry Jones inserts himself into every major decision with a new coaching staff trying to establish culture. Yeah, what could possibly go wrong? Yeah, everything. Everything could go wrong. Everything would go wrong. This is not a good idea. The Cowboys need to focus on getting their cap situation under control and building around Pickens as their number 1 option. They already made their splash move at receiver. Adding Hill would only complicate things and take targets away from the guy they just invested in. Dallas has more than enough drama without inviting more through the front door. Get in, Kansas City Chiefs. Alright, I think this is an obvious one. The homecoming everyone has been waiting for. Hill spent 6 seasons in Kansas City. He made 6 Pro Bowls, won a Super Bowl, and formed one of the most devastating quarterback-receiver connections that the league has ever seen with Patrick Mahomes. And since trading Hill in 2022, their offense became increasingly reliant on Travis Kelce. And now Kelce is entering his age 36 season. The explosive plays dried up. The deep threat just disappeared. Heck, Chris Jones has already started the recruiting process, posting "It's time" on social media after Hill was released. The Chiefs could make this work if they really wanted to. And here's the poetic part. Both Hill and Mahomes are returning from torn ACLs suffered in 2025. Their rehab timelines could sync up perfectly. They could return together, older and wiser, for one last run at a championship. If that doesn't write itself, then come on. I don't know what does. Stay away, New York Jets. As much as Woody Johnson wants to bring in a big name, someone needs to remind the crazy man running the Jets that they are in full rebuild mode. Remember the whole fire sale at the trade deadline? How about when you finish 3-14? There's a reason you have the second overall pick in the draft. Don't lose yourself and think one flashy signing is going to fix it all. Why on earth would they sign a 32-year-old receiver coming off a devastating knee injury? Only Woody Johnson can answer that question. New York has plenty of cap space, but that money should be going toward young building blocks who can grow with whoever the Jets draft at quarterback, not toward a fading veteran who might not even be ready for Week 1. The Jets have made this mistake before. They've chased big names and short-term solutions instead of building sustainability. It just never works. This franchise needs to commit to the rebuild. They need to draft well. They need to develop young players and build a culture. Tyreek Hill does not fit any part of that plan. Some teams are in a position to take swings on high-risk, high-reward players. The Jets are not one of those teams, at least not right now. Stay away, build for the future. Get in, Los Angeles Chargers. If Tyreek Hill doesn't go back to Kansas City, this is where he should land. Mike McDaniel is now the Chargers offensive coordinator after being fired by the Dolphins. So you know what that means? Well, the guy who designed the offense that made Hill the most productive receiver in football is now in Los Angeles with Justin Herbert. People forget because, the situation got ugly over the last season or so, but Hill had back-to-back 1,700-yard seasons in McDaniel's system. The guy led the league in yards per route run both years and was targeted on an absurd 38% of his routes, miles ahead of anyone else in football. McDaniel knows exactly how to use Hill. There's no learning curve, no adjustment period. Hill walks in on day one and knows every route, every concept, every wrinkle. He just needs to remember all that McDaniel did for him. Los Angeles should really be doing everything in their power to make this happen. Stay away, New England Patriots. The Patriots just went to the Super Bowl. They lost to Seattle, but they got there with a young quarterback in Drake May and a culture-first approach under Mike Vrabel. Vrabel is currently building something very special out in New England. He's establishing an identity. He's creating an environment where players buy in, work hard, and put the team first. Yeah! After hearing all that, let me ask you, does Tyreek Hill really fit in that environment?
I'm out, bro. It was great playing here, but at the end of the day, bro, I got to do what's best for my career.
Yes, Hill is talented. Yes, Drake May could really use more weapons. And yes, New England has $55 million in cap space. But some things are more important than talent. Heck, Stephon Diggs is chaos enough. New England should look elsewhere. There are other ways to get Drake May weapons. Ways that don't come with this much baggage. Some risks aren't worth taking, no matter how talented the player. Get in, Chicago Bears. Here is a connection that does not get talked about enough. Bears GM Ryan Poles was the Chiefs' director of college scouting when Kansas City drafted Tyreek Hill in the 5th round back in 2016. That pick helped define Poles' entire career in football operations. Now Poles is running his own team, and he's got a rising star at quarterback in Caleb Williams, who just showed the entire league what he's capable of. Chicago already has promising young weapons in Colston Loveland and Luther Burden III. Adding Hill, even a slightly diminished version, gives Williams a true deep threat who can blow the top off of defenses and open up everything underneath. Ben Johnson's offense in year 2 with a healthy Hill running routes? Yeah, that is a top 5 offense just waiting to happen. Stay away, Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers are desperate for receiver help. They traded for DK Metcalf last year. They traded away George Pickens after getting tired of his antics. And now Metcalf is their only legitimate threat, and no other wideout on the roster cracked 375 receiving yards in 2025. So, when Tyreek Hill hit the market, Pittsburgh fans immediately started dreaming. But here's why that would be a massive mistake. The Steelers just got rid of George Pickens because he was a distraction. He showed up late to games. He got into it with coaches. He wore messages on his eye black. Pittsburgh had enough and shipped him to Dallas for a 3rd round pick. Plus, I mean, they have a new head coach in Mike McCarthy and a big question at quarterback with retirement still looming large in Aaron Rodgers' mind. So, with a need at receiver, Hill is enticing, but you know, the juice does not seem worth the squeeze given the context. But hey, would you want Tyreek Hill on your team? Which teams do you think are the best fit? Who do you think we're right on here? Who do you think we're wrong about? Was there anything that we may have missed? Let us know in the comments section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, then clicking the like button helps us out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.